from the Night Shift Crew Studios in the DC metro area. This is The Statement Show. The lights are on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kyle Klessinger from 30 West Entertainment, and you're listening to The Statement Show with Zach and some fucking guy named Terry.
Hey, this is Corpsey. I am the publisher, editor-in-chief of Girls and Corpses magazine, and I am on the phone with Terry and Zach from the fucking Statement Show. Fucking A, Corpses, woo!
You know, it's your main man, Dan Drops. I'm here for The Statement Show. The Statement Show's here for me.
Oh, yeah. We are back. How you feeling, Zach?
Good, but deja vu, because haven't we said we're back like 3 times now?
Let's don't talk about that right now. Hey, but you know what's up? I was noticing something in our drop. Why is it we have so much cursing going on in our drops? What do people just feel like anytime they want to talk about themselves or us that they just curse? What's going on here?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we're just coming off like that. I mean, when we had Layla Price on, I had to edit that drop. Oh my God.
Well, here's the thing. People only heard so much of that drop. I mean, do you actually have, like, right with you, do you have the unedited version of that drop with you right now?
Absolutely. So, if anybody doesn't remember, we had Layla Price on, porn star. We're going to get into that, by the way, here in a minute. But let's let you hear a couple of the drops that Layla Price did for us, and you get an idea of some of her reasoning behind what we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But so let me play you the X-rated version of Layla Price's drop.
I'm Layla Price, and when I'm not getting fucked in the ass, I'm listening to The Statement Show after dark.
Yeah, that's
not
one.
Exactly going with the whole, trying to clean it up. And so everybody, when we tell them to do drop, they do something on their own tone, but we're trying to clean it up a little bit. Not overboard.
No, but I mean, there is a reasoning why when, I don't know about you, that, but when my youngest, he's 13, when he goes, Dad, can I listen to the podcast? And I go, not exactly this week, maybe next week.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing with me. When my daughter asked me, why can't I listen to the show? I'm getting tired of finding reasons why she can't listen to the show. And
right.
Let's put it this way. I think we've exhausted our porn limit. Let's play. And this is, you heard.
I'm Layla Price, and when I'm not getting fucked in the ass, I'm listening to The Statement Show after dark.
Now, of course, she was thinking about Terry.
Oh, wow.
But this is the version I had to clean. This is how it goes.
I'm Layla Price. I'm listening to The Statement Show after dark.
So obviously you could hear the difference there, what I cut out. So,
but seriously, though, I mean, what do our listeners like better? Maybe they like the if I'm not getting fucked in the ass. I don't know.
Well, maybe they would have, but I mean, this is a talk show. Okay, we want to talk about news, we want to talk about sport, and we want to have interviews that are interesting for our guests to listen to. Let's just put it this way. We've had quite a few porn stars on, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, but we want to change the tone of the show. We want to bring it around to something a little bit more on the lower end as far as we still want the celebrities, but I want to interview anybody. This, we're going for like the Howard Stern kind of thing. I want to interview everybody, but you can only do so much of one type of interview with the porn stars. So we're trying to get other guests on. We have one coming up, Ivana Cadaver. She's a TV host. Think of her as a modern day Elvira. And and she's pretty hot too. We're gonna have her on. Awesome. We're gonna have her on. We'll have and she's excited to come on. You can hit us up at Statement Show on Twitter, and she follows us. So send her a message, or if you have any questions, you can send them to @StatementShow on Twitter. You can also email us at thestatementshow@gmail.com, which, by the way, you can also do us a contact on our website at www.thestatementshow.com. But enough of our promo there.
No, I'm not against shameless plugging. Let's keep it up.
Shameless plugging.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, opinion that I want to tone it away from that type of content. I want to bring it back into what we originally wanted the show to be. And that's having a good time, not trying to make the shows hour and a half or an hour, but at least the 40-minute to hour mark is what I'm shooting for. And if it naturally progresses to beyond that range, I mean, we both work. We both have full-time jobs. We want this to become something that is our job only. But for right now, we do work. Done enough of the sitting around and not doing it. And that's our own fault. I mean, I don't personally have a good reason other than I'd say laziness, but
I would definitely say mine's laziness. Yes.
So I would too. You are a lazy person. So
I'm a very lazy person.
I'm sitting here drinking a beer right now, but
I'm sitting here doing nothing other than talking into the microphone. I'm trying to be as lazy as possible.
so we both have full-time jobs, but this is what I want to be, the full-time job. So in the future, you're going to hear better guests. You're going to hear better content. That's my pledge. Better guests. So what I would like to see happen eventually here, I would like to maybe get some politicians on, talk about the current presidential run, just to kind of bring it down to a level where for the everyday person to listen to, and nothing long, but the issues that are going on in the world today. I want to talk about everything, and I want to have interesting guests on, and that's my pledge. That's where I'm hoping to take it. So we're going to move away from certain content and bring it back to the center of what we originally intended the show to be. You got any thoughts on that?
I'm trying to think, what exactly is our show going to be, Zachary?
See, well, that's where it is. So obviously in the beginning, we didn't do what we normally do. But for me, you have to pick a category for your show.
Mm-hmm, right.
And for me, I could never find a category that I felt like was quite us. So I always said the Statement Show is a podcast that fits in no category. And that's what I believe. And that is the catchphrase for the show as far as I'm concerned. This is a podcast that fits in no category. It probably never will because it's going to be what we want it to be. Ever-changing, more interesting guests, and talking about the news.
I mean, and it's true because if anybody's ever went back on our archives, they've seen we've had food critics, we've had Dame Drops,
Sure.
We've had Fran Drescher, movies, TV stuff. You know, this woman was amazing for us. Well, naturally, we've had the porn stars. We've had Stanton Freeman. We've had a good bit. We've had, video game reviewers. We've had pretty much everything. That's the way we like it. We've always said from the very beginning. I remember when you and I first began talking about doing the podcast, we said, if it's our local garbage man or a taxi cab driver, we want to talk to him because we want to hear everyone's view on everything that's going on. Because, I think that you and I both agree, if you interview one person, they might tell you one thing, but you interview your next door neighbor about that very same topic, they give you a completely different perspective on everything.
Sure. Varying points of interest. Yeah, sure. They have varying, opinions. Everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
So it shouldn't always be about the super celebrities. And of course, that's what's going to bring an audience in. And of course, we want a large audience. That is, of course, the goal of any show. So people listen, we have more listeners and eventually can make a living doing this. But, you're not going to hear any sponsors, as far as I'm concerned, on this show for at least the next 3 or 4 episodes, because I want to focus on bringing the show back to where we intended it to be, a better quality show for the listeners. No advertising for a little while until we get our voice back, until we get back into the swing of the show. That's where I feel. I don't know what you feel about it, Terry, but that's where I'm trying to be honest now. I want everybody to know that I don't think any advertising should happen until we feel like the content's at a better place.
No, and I actually agree 100%. We have to be brutally honest with everyone, because if anyone has followed our show, they'll realize, we'll do something for 6 or 7 months and then not do anything for a couple of months. And then we'll do something for a while. And here's the thing. Every time we get into it, put our heart and soul into it, we start getting the Twitter followers up. We start getting a lot of things. And then just for whatever reason, it goes in an opposite direction. This is just us being honest with you guys. Hang in there with us. We promise we're trying to get just superb quality interviews for you guys. And it's not one particular thing. Like Zach said, we're not just a sports podcast. We're not just a tech podcast. We're not just, a particular brand. We don't want to do that. That's never the way we wanted to do things. And we started going down a road where it tend to be focused on,
show.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But I mean, you know what though? I mean, I think, and please, again, send us something to thestatementshow@gmail.com. Even with the porn interviews that we were doing, we interviewed each and every one of those girls as if we were interviewing Halle Berry or whoever, I mean,
the intent wasn't to go raunchy
Correct.
right off the bat, because that's not what
it's never what we wanted to do.
You get that from everybody else. So I want you to come here, listen to the show, and get something different. So
we talked about what where they were traveling, what they did on their off days. everybody knows what they do on set. That's obvious. You can see that on film. But we wanted to know more in their personal lives. We wanted to know more about what they did outside of the industry. And I think if anybody noticed that about us, they saw the genuine way that we were doing interviews. And, we were getting a lot of really good feedback from our interviews that, people were telling us, wow, we really learned a lot about this particular person. And that meant a lot to us. We weren't just, even with the questions that people were bringing into us, a lot of them really didn't have some X-rated stupid stuff. And be honest with you, we really didn't put those on the show. We really didn't ask those type of questions when our fans would say, ask them this or ask them that. We didn't have any interest in asking them if, how often they got fucked in the ass. That was not something that we wanted to ask. That's just not something that we wanted to do. And I think we always tried to keep it
yeah, exactly. And that's where it felt like the show was starting to head. And
correct. And that's where Zach and I kind of put a time out on things, and we stopped things and said, this is really not the direction we want our show to head. I mean, and we even tried to do something to where we went for the Statement Show, and then we went After Dark, which was obviously something more adult oriented, but even still, something wasn't feeling totally right on it. It's not who we are. It's not what we want to do.
So, because like when we talked to Brie Olson, now obviously she was in porn, but we didn't really talk about that. She was a fantastic person to talk to, and I really enjoyed that interview. It's a side of her you don't hear as much, in my opinion.
Brie has nothing to do with porn any longer, and she didn't want to really talk about porn.
Into acting, and
right.
She's got a comedy thing going on now, which we'd get into more. We're trying to get her back on the show. I want her to come back on the show. I want Stanton Friedman back on the show, the physicist from the Roswell alien recovery site. So that's my personal interest, and I've always had an interest in the UFO, and I'd like to have more guests on into the UFOs or paranormal. That's what I'm talking about. I want the show to be an interview process for everything, not just one type of show. So I want you to come on. I want you to hear segments from anybody, but we also want to make it interesting and fun, and we want to have some games on and things of that nature. And I want it to be interesting for people to hear. Obviously, that's why we're doing this. We're not doing it just to hear ourselves talk. So if you have ideas, send us email. Get on the website. Follow us on iTunes. Leave us a review. We suck. We're good. I don't really care. I won't pull it. It'll stay on there. That's all I care about is just, give us some feedback. If you don't like it, tell us what you'd rather hear, and we'll change it. If it's within something we're willing to change.
Get better. I think that's really the only way we're going to get better. It's the only way that think about it. I mean, and I don't think I'm, breaking any, ground here, but I would say that, everybody gets in their car, or they're going to work out, or, they're going for a run, or whatever they're choosing to do. They have the ability to listen to a billion different podcasts. Sure. I mean, they really do. There's a ton of them out there. We want to make sure that you guys are being entertained in every way possible. We want to make sure that, when you choose to download us and you choose to listen to us, that you're going to love every aspect of the show. Please bear with us. We've got I promise you, we have some really good things happening. Like Zach was talking, we've got feelers going out for different guests coming up, and I promise you, stick with this. It's going to get better. Sure. And
so exactly. So we have Vetter Day is coming up. So we're going to try to have a vet on here. We're going to talk about the military and Veterans Day and what it means. We've got Ivana Cadaver coming on talking about her show, and we would like to get some questions out there. If anybody has any questions for Ivana Cadaver, please feel free, hit us up and we'll ask them. You give it to it. If you send us a short MP3 of, no more than 30 seconds, 30 seconds, we'll play that on the show. You can the same email address at www.thestatementshow.com. You can hit contact there and send us an email. You can also send us at thestatementshow@gmail.com. Not trying to pipe those out there, but I also want you to hear them because I want you to contact us if there's a question. So, but that's kind of where we're headed. I don't want to keep following on the same path and dredging up the same thing. So pretty much this show was just meant to be a short kind of, we're coming back. We're going to start piping more shows a week out. At the bare minimum, we're hoping to get at least 2, or if not 3, and that's the goal for now. And then eventually, what I'd like to see happen is 5 a week, every day, and have it so that you have it for your commute, or this is something that you can listen to and in the car on your way to work, or that's kind of where I see myself going. And I want more shows to be on the Night Shift Crew Studios moniker, other people down the road. And that's kind of where I'm going with this whole thing. We have a studio that we're trying to get more shows under, and so this will be something you come into to listen to more. So that being said, and we've kind of, put ourselves out there and let everybody know what our intentions are and how better things are here to come. I'd also like to talk about a little bit of news now, so we can just kind of get off that topic, get on to something else here, because there's some interesting stories, and I've got one personally I'd like to talk about. I watched this news story about a cop who got shot, and the whole town kind of went crazy and trying to find whoever did this to him. And I read an article today that basically it was an elaborate suicide. So that kind of threw me for a loop. I'm thinking, what the hell? So I got a clip here I'm going to play. We'll play this and we'll comment a little bit about it and talk about it afterwards. So let's give it a listen.
This is exclusive video of G.I. Joe, the cop thought to be an American hero until now.
This was a carefully staged suicide. This officer killed himself.
The case took a stunning turn today. G.I. Joe, whose apparent murder was mourned across America, took his own life. Far from being a hero, 52-year-old Lieutenant Joe Glinowitz embezzled tens of thousands of dollars from his department, investigators revealed today.
Thousands of dollars were used by Glinowitz for personal purchases, travel expenses, mortgage payments, personal gym memberships, adult websites, facilitating
adult websites, by the way, my personal favorite,
and unaccounted cash withdrawals.
Joe's family and neighbors say it's beyond belief.
My God, he was a local hero. Well thought of by all.
As for the suicide, I just hard to believe it.
His brother told Inside Edition flat out, it's, quote, BS. The G.I. Joe story made national news in September when he was shot to death while supposedly chasing 3 suspects on foot.
Subjects are to be considered armed and dangerous.
The manhunt resulted in a lockdown at Fox Lake outside Chicago and focused the nation on the heroism of cops when police actions everywhere are under scrutiny. Thousands of cops from across America attended his funeral. Mourners held signs expressing their love for G.I. Joe. His wife spoke of their love.
Joe was my best friend, my world, my hero.
G.I. Joe was an expert at staging crime scenes for police training. This exclusive video obtained by Inside Edition shows G.I. Joe working with trainees. And here he is demonstrating...
So basically you get the idea. So he staged his own suicide, and as you heard, he's an expert at it because he sets it up for training for other police officers.
I don't even know what to say to that. That is just awful.
I mean, I like porn like anybody else, and not by the way, if you're listening to this, I don't go to any of those sites ever.
Yeah, right.
I've never seen porn. Anyway,
I made you say it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
But he used the money to go to porn sites. He used it to pay his mortgage. It's, I'm just flabbergasted. So, but you haven't heard all the details because apparently when the article that I read said that there's 2 other people involved that they're investigating right now. So until the investigation comes through, they're not going to give you all the facts and tell you exactly. But they're saying he also was involved with criminal activities. Now, whether that was the extent of it or they're not talking about it because they don't want to tip off the people they're investigating, I really don't know. So I guess we'll find out.
It's such a, oh my goodness. I mean, how do you even put this into perspective? I mean, the cops have been obviously just blasted in the media recently, and then you hear a story like this.
Yeah, they can do no right.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
I have family that are in the police department, and
yes, I
commend them. They do a great job. And I think the problem is you only hear, because we're in a 24-hour news cycle, you only hear about the bad incidents. Right. You very rarely hear about the great things that they do every day. And that's the bad part about it. You don't get to hear about the great stuff. You do every now and then, but sometimes it almost comes off like they're, it almost feels staged sometimes because they're trying to get good publicity. And but I don't know what to say. It's just kind of one of those things. It's every time you hear something good about a cop, there's 5 things on the news about something bad about a cop.
Or not only that, but if you hear something negative, that news story will run in a 1 hour period 5 different times regarding the negativity.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, you listen to CNN.
You hear if you have a cop who saved a family from a car wreck or a burning building or something, that's, the last story being told, and it gets about 10 seconds worth of airtime. And it's depressing. I mean, those guys are on the front lines every single day. And for the most part, you have these police officers, unlike in most jobs. Look, let me put it to you like this. We all know that every job that we do, we sign up to do. If you're a firefighter and you're afraid of fire, then that's probably a bad job. I mean, let's be realistic, If you're a cop and you're nervous of, someone shooting at you, probably the wrong field to be in. But these guys sign up every single day to do what they know could possibly be their last day. They walk away from their families.
Sure.
They put their lives on the line every single day.
But
are there bad police officers? Sure.
I also have my flip side.
But there's a lot of good ones too.
My flip side to it is, yes, they do an honorable thing, but they also signed up for it. They get a paycheck, and they wanted to do this job.
That's exactly what they wanted to do, right? You knew what you were getting into.
Exactly. So it's not always about, hey, we've got to, I'm not getting on the fence saying cops are bad or cops are evil or any of that. Like I said, they wanted this. That's a job that they wanted to do, and they wanted to help other people. And some people don't always have that intention. And those are the people that are kind of, in the limelight now. And I think it's harder for cops to get away with certain things because technology is kind of caught up to the point where they're monitoring their every move, going to be wearing body cameras.
Yeah, they can't do anything without it being recorded at this point. It's pretty sad.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, and maybe that's a good thing. I mean, obviously, now that we've got all this technology and we're starting to see a lot of the things in the news, say, for instance, the past 6 months of the 5, 6, 7 different times we've seen things happen. Some of these things have been really, really good, but then there's been times where media picks up on this. And then, 2 months down the road, they figure out that what they were mad about or what people were getting pissed off about or even rioting about, maybe they were doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Sure.
I mean, it's just, I think we need to hear everything. And even with this police officer here who committed suicide, on the other side of all this is he has family too. And it's very unfair for those guys.
Sure.
And I can't put myself into that. I refuse to put myself into that kind of position because at the end of the day, he still has a wife. He may have kids. He's still, mom, dad, whatever. And, that's still someone's son right there. And
sure.
I can't judge this person for what he did. I mean, obviously, if you look at the news report, it doesn't look so good for him. But on the other side, I can't be the one to tell him that he's such a bad person, because I truly don't know. Because guess what? In a month, other stuff could come out and we could find
more
out
details.
Yeah, right. That's what's sad about everything. We all tend to just jump on these stories and run with them. And we don't hear even half of the story before we're already crucifying someone for something that maybe they didn't do.
Yeah, I agree.
Or maybe it's worse than this. Who knows?
I mean, don't know.
I have no clue.
All right, so let's talk a little bit something more up your alley. Sports. Play a little clip for you. We'll talk about it.
Niners are benching quarterback Colin Kaepernick for Blaine Gabbert, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter in multiple reports. Kaepernick has passed for just 286 yards the last 2 games, and the Niners are 2-6. He's failed to score a touchdown for the 2nd straight game and 3rd in 5. Stephen A., what went wrong here?
Well, what went wrong here is the 49ers as an organization is laughable and inept, and they're reaping exactly what they have sown. If you hadn't gotten rid of Jim Harbaugh, this would not be happening. The fact is that even though, and I'll get to Colin Kaepernick in a second, regardless of how inept he appears, and he does appear inept at times, if you're Jed York, if you're Trent Baalke, if you're the San Francisco 49ers nation, that fan base, that city, look right at the CEO and right at the GM, because they put their personal interest in terms of a need to get along with the head coach ahead of winning. prioritizing winning. Even last year, as dysfunctional as everything appeared, you still ended up finished like 8-8. Jim Harbaugh had you respectable, okay? The 3 previous years, you were in an NFC championship game or the Super Bowl. And to sit there and to get in this man's way and to impede his ability to coach this franchise, you are reaping precisely what you sowed. You brought this on yourself, and you are getting what you deserve.
So what do you think about this whole thing? So
honestly, I've never been a huge Stephen A. fan there, but what he's saying right there is completely true. I mean, I'm not putting this whole entire thing on Colin Kaepernick. I've never thought Colin Kaepernick was the greatest quarterback out there. I've just,
I was actually
replace him with Blaine Gabbert in the middle of the season. You've got a home game coming against Atlanta this week, right now. Atlanta, who is my team, so I can easily speak all the garbage you want about them. Their record is good. However, we're not the greatest thing in the whole entire world. We've had a lot of games where we've played not the stiffest competition, and I believe that if you've got San Francisco, you've got San Francisco in San Francisco. So Atlanta's coming out there to play. You could have gave him probably another game to see, okay, can we put Atlanta away right here? I don't think Kaepernick is all that fantastic of a quarterback. However, with all that being said, the team has been in shambles pretty much all year. Like Stephen A. was saying, when you let Jim Harbaugh go, you could start seeing several of the players retiring. You could start seeing just the air went out of their sails. Now I believe that, the 49ers are, what have they scored? Like 109 points, I think, entire year now, which is 3rd or 4th lowest in history. It goes.
Yeah, it's like
it goes deeper than Colin Kaepernick at this point.
They're bad as the Redskins, and they're a championship team. I mean, they were gonna, the last couple of years, this is my team, and I thought they were gonna get a bowl, and they didn't win it, and just wasn't there. But they got close.
Said,
now they're not even getting there. It
was a couple of years ago they were sitting in, right there in contention to win the Super Bowl, and now we're talking about 2-6. This is not all Colin Kaepernick. It's just not. I think that I'm beginning to wonder, I'm hearing stories that, he's a baby, that he's bossy, that he's, a diva.
He's like his head blew up. Like, look, let's face it, you ain't been in the game that long on professional level, and you need to keep your head about you. And I think that's the problem. He's probably feeling like, you know what, they got rid of the coach because I didn't like him, and this team's mine. And they're showing him that it's not. And I was never a Colin Kaepernick fan. I'm a 49ers fan, but you got to do what's good for the team. That's what they're doing right now. I was an Alex Smith fan, and I felt like they swapped him out too fast, and he did what was best. He went to Kansas City, wasn't doing too bad there. But yeah, he's not cutting the mustard anymore, and when you don't, you should know it. You took over somebody in the same respect, doing the same thing. Now they're doing it to you, but you're playing so bad, you're not even hurt, and they're taking you out.
Well, not only that, but you've got to figure that right now, his weapons around him are awful. Carlos Hyde is hurt. You figure the defense is all but, it's oh my God.
Did they just trade Vernon?
They just traded Vernon Davis. They're kind of just throwing the whole entire damn season in. You figure your best offensive player, unless you're saying Carlos Hyde is a 35-year-old wide receiver, nothing good's going to happen out of this whole entire thing. It's not. But if you sit and watch him, he's very inaccurate. It almost looks like he's forgotten how to pass. I mean, he's sitting in the pocket and he's gone. I mean, he's not going through his progressions. It's really a lot more. I don't know. It's really bad. And I'm wondering, is it all Colin? Is it the coaching? I don't know. I can't stand their head coach. I can't stand the organization, the way and like you said, it's sort of, with us being in the Washington, D.C. area, it's very reminiscent of the Washington Redskins and the disorganization.
Sure. I mean, look, face it, I already get shit for being a 49ers fan in Redskin territory.
Right.
But we're in Redskin territory. We're also in Ravens territory.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of split down the middle. I have to look at all the Ravens shit. I have to look at all the Redskins shit. When I go out here, I can't even find 49ers gear unless I go into a mom and pop sports store, which I frequent to get my 49ers fix. But it's almost getting to the point where I'm ashamed to carry the cup around. I mean, what the hell's going on with this team? And they cut Harbaugh out. You know, I didn't agree with that at all. But now he's with Michigan, and let's see what he does with Michigan. So it takes a couple years to kind of see, you know, to get that team along. I think they just had a big loss not too long ago. So, but you can see the little improvements. You know, you can see the improvements that are coming along. So I'll be happy to see what he does. And
he's going to be the next coach fired. It's just a matter of time now.
What, from Michigan?
No, from the 49ers. He's done.
Yeah.
He's finished. It's pretty much over. I mean, Tim Tebow took massive criticism over and over. And don't get me wrong, he was hardly a great NFL quarterback. One of the greatest college quarterbacks there was. But as a NFL pro, Kaepernick
mediocre at best.
has done, I guess, a little better than that. But I mean, he's not much better. I mean, to me, he's not reading defenses at all. His accuracy is at an all-time low. It's just I don't know that he's ever going to be any better than what he is right. I don't know. And now I'm sitting around saying to myself, is he just he's obviously not a, I don't know. I don't know. If
comes
he's
off like a diva to me. So
yeah, it's just really disgusting to sit and watch. It's awful. Like, again, though, if he went to another organization, it's sort of like RG3 with the Redskins right now. You know, if RG3 goes to another organization, is he going to thrive in that organization? Is it just a dysfunction that's in the Redskins? I'm not really 100% positive. I know this. RG3 and Colin Kaepernick are in a very toxic situation right now. They both need to get the hell out of there.
I think they brought RG3 in and made him the savior of the team, and it just, I'm not saying it went to his head because he looked like he kept humble, but I just think he felt like he had to put it all on his shoulders, and he blew out his knee, and and they put him back in when he wasn't really ready. I just think he's damaged. He's damaged goods right now. And either he just needs to take some good time to get healed, but even then, he's never going to play the same. And he's a kamikaze player. So, and those careers don't last anywhere near as long. So, but he's entertaining to watch. I'll tell you. I mean, he was a damn good player, and I liked watching him. And I'm not a Redskins fan, but I didn't mind watching RG3 at all. I'll be the first to give somebody else shit about it. So.
Right, exactly. I mean, I guess, and to put a bow on this whole entire thing, it's just, it's sort of embarrassing for both organizations. If you look back in the 80s, you couldn't have got better organizations than the Niners and the Redskins at that point.
Sure.
And as two organizations that are borderline, no, not even borderline, they are fucking clueless, specifically the Redskins. They're clueless in what they're doing right now.
Agreed.
It's just bad. And, I'm hoping, as a casual Redskin fan and a diehard Atlanta Falcons fan, but being in the DC area, you sort of you got to hear it. You got to deal with it. Talk radio's all over the Redskins. So you have to listen to it in its own way. I do kind of root for them just because they're a local team. But in the same sentence, it's embarrassing to the true Redskin fans. I mean, I've been to FedEx a few times. I used to go to the old RFK Stadium. I used to be a Redskins fan when I was younger, rooted for them like crazy, and watched that organization become successful. Many Super Bowls. You've got Joe Gibbs is one of the most legendary coaches ever. Yeah, Jack Kent Cook is a fantastic owner. And now what? Here you are with Dan Snyder as your owner and now Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. It's just, where in the hell did you get to an organization to this point in your organization that this is acceptable? I don't understand it. As kind of a local, I want to see them do good. And, I would love to see them make it back to even the playoffs, get back to a winning record. We can't even talk, Super Bowl was ridiculous. Playoffs would be nice, but at this point, hell, I'd take a winning record from them at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? It's bad. It's just really, really bad. But hell, I could talk about this all night.
Sure. Better things to come. I just wanted everybody to know that. We've got a chance to talk about a few stories here. And
yeah.
I just appreciate all the people that have listened to the show. And like I said, better things to come. I'm excited about getting this show back off the ground with the guests we got coming on. I'm sure you are too as well, Terry.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready to roll, man. I'm ready to roll.
So again, even though I mentioned it 4 or 5 times, you can follow us on Twitter at Statement Show. iTunes, you can subscribe to us and leave a shitty review at The Statement. Now, remember, iTunes is The Statement. And then YouTube, we're on The Statement Show, which, by the way, Terry's behind and updating that site. So he's got to get the current shows up there.
Ass.
So if...
I told you I'm lazy. I have a strict no hustle rule.
I'll tell you what, send an email to www. Wait a minute, that's the website. So www.thestatementshow.com, and you can get on there and go to contact and send Terry a message, tell him to get off his dead ass and update the YouTube site.
And tell us how great the website looks, because that was me.
Oh, yeah.
Or my son, or...
Yeah, the Statement Show at gmail.com is our email address if you have a question for Ivana Cadaver coming up.
Yeah.
So we got Veterans Day come up. We got a special episode we're going to put out for that. And then, of course, Ivana Cadaver, which I'm looking forward to that interview because she seems excited to come on, and I'm excited to have her on. Better things to come. So keep listening and start this journey with us all over again and see where we go. All right, Terry. So as we always say, the lights are out.
See ya.
They're bad as the Redskins, and they're a championship team. I mean,
no, I'm not against shameless plugging. Let's keep it up.
Shameless plugging.